You have chosen Song of the Week by ABBA. The second week is Dream World from 1978, first released in 1994. Over the years, decades, this was one of only 3 songs that ABBA released from their archives in full length. And we have incredible insight into this song's recording sessions. So, what was the recording like, and why was this song left unreleased, but eventually released after all? This is our deep dive back to 1978. The song was written in 2 days by Björn and Benny during songwriting sessions, and already 1 day later, ready for recording. The song was then recorded within 3 days, and we have incredibly detailed descriptions of those recording sessions for this particular song. As always, the research for the ABBA recording sessions comes from Carl Magnus Palm, especially his book, The Complete Recording Sessions. And about the 3-day recording sessions for Dream World, here is a first overview. Day 1 was trying out the tune, changing things, arranging the music, Benny finding the circus sounds on his Polymoog, recording the basic track. Day 2 was devoted to recording a string section, and Day 3 was the vocal recording sessions. The song has ABBA's classic band, Benny Andersson on keyboards, Ola Brunkert on drums, Rutger Gunnarsson on bass, Björn Ulvaeus and Lasse Welander on guitars, and a string section for overdubs. On this recording session, it just so happened that a reporter for a Swedish newspaper was in the studio with ABBA, and this is pure coincidence. That also happened to us last week with our last song of the week, The King Has Lost His Crown, for which ABBA was visited by a reporter for that song's vocal recording sessions. And with this particular visit for Dream World, which was actually recorded close to after the recording and mixing of The King Has Lost His Crown, this visit gives us one of those rare insights into ABBA's recording process. And there are even photographs from this recording session. The book says, the day's work begins with Björn and Benny running through the song on guitar and piano as usual. Agneta, who is to be the lead singer, is also present to try out the keys. As the working out of the arrangement together with the backing musicians begins, Benny decides that the song should be in the key of A. Quote Benny, "It's better for Agneta." Björn orders Ola Brunkert on drums to really let go on the snare drum, and the book continues, after a lunch break, Benny starts fooling around on the Polymoog, coming up with the circus-like sounds that will eventually serve as an effective intro to the song. "My, what a sound!" exclaims Michael Dretoff. "Incredibly cool," says Benny. Day 2 was devoted to string overdubs, probably arranged by ABBA's bass player Rutger Gunnarsson, and Day 3 was the vocal recording sessions, and the vocals for this song got particular praise from many of you in the comments last time. People said, "Love the harmonies and perfect vocals of Frida and Agneta. Dream World is so beautiful and injected with energy. The harmonies are exceptional." From the book, The Complete Recording Sessions, about that vocal recording session on Day 3, it says, according to the reporter, Frida has never heard the tune nor seen the lyrics before this session. As always, the girls give their all, putting in magnificent harmony vocals, hitting those high notes as if their lives depended on it. That is especially poignant as those lyrics are quite deep. The first working title was Dreamland. One of you wrote, "Dream World, this song sounds joyful, but it's not if you listen to the lyrics. That is 100% ABBA." And that's true, the music is so joyful, celebratory with all that glorious synthesizer work and circus style, but the song itself, the story, Björn's lyrics, are not so joyful at all. Let's take a look at the verses. The song starts with one of my favorite lines, "We're not the stars of a Hollywood movie." Then goes on, "So what's the use to pretend I'm not so charming and you're not so groovy? You've gotta face it, my friend." From the second verse, "You had your hopes and your high expectations. Somehow it doesn't seem right." And the bridge goes, "When you reach out and you say to me, 'How I love you, girl,' when I hold you, baby, can't you see? It's a real dream world." There's certainly uncertainty in this love relationship that is depicted in Björn's lyrics for the song. But then, as so often with ABBA, and that makes it so fitting then, once again, to that joyful music, especially corresponding to the chorus, Björn's lyrics brighten up with hope. Boy meets girl doesn't mean they're in a dream world. Here I am, there you are, we gotta make it together, and we've made it so far, so it can only get better. Especially the music at the end of the song after this line gets so joyful one more time, repeating that circus-like intro. Dreamworld got so much praise from you, many called it one of their favorites. For one individual, this song is one of the top 5 all-time favorite songs of ABBA. Especially the chorus of Dreamworld was highlighted and got much praise. And someone wrote that the intro slays, and there was praise for the circus style of the music. Carl Magnus Palm left his own estimation of the song in his book. Taken all together, the tune, the arrangement, the singing, Dreamworld was superb. And also, perhaps poignantly, Dreamworld happens to have been created amongst an important happening in ABBA's story of love. Why is this chapter now titled The Marriage? This is about a song, but the 6th of October 1978 was the wedding day for Benny and Frida. And on the very same day, according to the recording sessions, Benny spent at least part of his day at Polar Music Studio to mix the song Dreamworld. Even on the next day, when Benny and Frida hosted a wedding party at their home in the evening, Benny was working in the studio before the party. But Björn and Benny were not happy with the song. They thought that the song was quite fun, but they didn't like the verses, and they felt the song didn't have a real chorus. And despite that, or maybe especially because of that, it's fascinating how many elements of the song survived in future ABBA songs for that upcoming album Voulez-vous. The most well-known adoption is the bridge, which was used for Does Your Mother Know? That's the line in Dreamworld, "When you reach out and you say to me, 'How I love you, girl,' which corresponds to Does Your Mother Know? Take it easy, better slow down, girl, that's no way to go, does your mother know?" But as the book points out, there is even a part of Dreamworld that was used in Kisses of Fire. The notes of the chorus, "Dream you've been living in," corresponds to Kisses of Fire. "Lips, close your eyes and see with your fingertips," and even some of the descending synthesizer notes after "You Just Can't Escape from Reality" were adopted for the intro of I Have a Dream, played on electric sitar. Dreamworld itself was one of the many songs from this period that was stored away in the archives. But this one not forever. Initially, Dreamworld was left unreleased and only released later on. We'll come to that in a moment. But even today, people are not familiar with the song. Two of my comments from our poll for Song of the Week said, Dreamworld, I don't even know that one. Another one, Dreamworld, never heard it before. To which someone replied, I wish I was hearing it for the first time. That box set floored me back in the day. And those who are familiar with the song left so much praise, as we have seen, and also wonder why ABBA was so hesitant to release or not release the song. Someone wrote, Dreamworld, love it with all my heart. Such a shame it wasn't released normally. Someone else had a very interesting idea. That individual wrote, I love Dreamworld, which I always felt Björn and Benny should have given it a proper release, like they did with Happy Hawaii, maybe B-side to one of their singles back in '79. So in 1977, Björn and Benny released so unusually an early version of one of their songs, Happy Hawaii, which evolved into Why Did It Have to Be Me on the previously released Arrival album. And it was so unusual for Björn and Benny to release an early version of a song, especially during ABBA's active period. That was the only time ever that they have done this during their active years. And they probably felt the song was unique enough in and of itself to be put on the B-side. I personally feel that Dreamworld is unique enough as well, but it wasn't released initially. It was first released in 1994 on the box set Thank You for the Music. But already in 1986, the full song Dreamworld was broadcast on radio by Michael Bitretov. And on this box set, ABBA gave permission for a range of unreleased songs to be released for the very first time ever. CD4 has many B-sides that were never released on CD, digitally, but amongst those are also songs that were never released at all. The first two songs are the outtakes Put on Your White Sombrero from 1980 and Dreamworld. The third track is an entire alternate take of a song, the so-called Doris Day version of Thank You for the Music, an early take of the song that was recorded by ABBA in the singing style of Doris Day. And this is the first time and only one of two times that ABBA released an early take of one of their songs. The second one came in 2012. At the end of the demo medley From a Twinkling Star to a Passing Angel, we get a full-length, final run-through version of the song Like an Angel Passing Through My Room. So apart from that outtakes medley, this box set, especially CD4, was something really unique and special till this day. And in the booklet for the box set, it says CD4 not for release, with an introduction by Björn. Through the years, ABBA made many demos of songs that were not to appear on record. These tryouts were an important way of finding out what the songs were about, their weaknesses and strengths. With few exceptions, the words were hastily scribbled down in the studio. Their sole purpose was to provide something to sing, grammar and content not being the first priority. This goes mainly for the track ABBA Undeleted, a collage of 23 minutes of outtakes in different snippets, and Dreamworld was also released as a promotional single to promote the box set, together with Put on Your White Sombrero, the 2-minute edit of Just Like That, as we know it from ABBA Undeleted, and Thank You for the Music, the Doris Day version. But for Dreamworld, this box set is not the end of the song's release history. We will continue with that in a moment. But before that, there is an entertaining addition to the story of Dreamworld. In 2004, ABBA released Our Last Video Ever, which turned out to not be ABBA's last video ever, after all. But this was my introduction to ABBA. I have so much nostalgia and fondness for this music video. I fell in love with the music that I was hearing, and the perplexity of that music being sung by those puppets. So I got curious. And here I am. And this video, the last video, the script and dialogue of the short film is full of lyrical references to ABBA songs. And there is even one line in variation from Dreamworld. I'm not charmed, you're not groovy.
I'm not charmed. You're not groovy. But I will give you one more chance.
In 2010, Dreamworld was released as part of the deluxe edition of Voulez-Vous, and this time, on this release, the intro to the song was featured without fade-in. This one features the intro in full circus synthesizer glory. Because in 1994, the tape for Dreamworld missed some seconds at the beginning, so that's why the song was faded in for this box set. And by 2010, they have found in the archives a different edit attempt of the song, which had the intro in full glory. And this intro was spliced into the original mix of the song for release on this deluxe edition. And this was the first time since 1994 that we got something previously unreleased on CD with that intro, and that continued with the Super Trooper Deluxe Edition, the full-length version of On and On and On, but for the first time in stereo, and it continued, as I said, with this demo medley of Like an Angel Passing Through My Room on this deluxe edition for the visitors. And this shows us ABBA's history and resistance to releasing unreleased material is very well known and documented, and that makes Dreamworld and the release of this song even more special. As I said, Dreamworld was one of only 3 unreleased songs that ABBA eventually released from their archives in full length. The other 2 were Put on Your White Sombrero and I Am the City from 1982, released 1 year before this box set in 1993. Strictly speaking, ABBA revisited another outtake and gave it to us in full length just 5 years ago, Just an Ocean for Voyage. But this was at least half of it, the backing track newly recorded with the original vocals from the archives newly mixed. One of you commented about Dreamworld. Hearing a new song, even if it was from 1978, was glorious. So, how was it for you? When you got this box set in 1994 or later on, how was it for you to hear previously unreleased ABBA songs for the very first time? And in our case today, the song Dreamworld. What do you think of this outtake from ABBA from 1978? Thank you so much for all your input. Next time we are back with a new choice for Song of the Week, and next week we are celebrating Agneta's birthday, 76 years of Agneta. So there will be a special episode and song selection for Song of the Week. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive, the history and connections, the story of the wedding day, the creation of Dreamworld. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, until then, hey do!